Good morning, everyone. This is Rose. Today is Monday, October 10th, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Just doing a quick audio and video check. All right, brand new week. Just need to adjust this as the Globex range is growing. We already have a breakout. Okay. Now, today is Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. And although the banks and federal offices are closed, the market is open. Bond market is closed. So we have Charles Evans began speaking at 9, just about a minute ago. So we might see some movement, although we already are seeing. Okay. Right there. Let me check something. Okay. So cup. Okay, and you could see that double top breakout. So most likely it is a measured move, but this right here was your initial move. So we already met that target and overshot it. ATR is not that strong, so we're trying to reach there. This right here is the first defense, because you see that gap right there, and it breaks that structure, which ended up giving a measured move target with several legs down, and even doubled it. So that means selling began there, and when the price gets there, we might just stop there before reaching the measured move. But even if we do reach the measured move, there is this bar right here. I'm interested. Right, that we might just reach there. Okay, that area. This is what I'm interested. That's what I'm interested. So this whole area is resistance. That's it, right there. Okay, so that's what the price is trying to reach. It's actually a sell zone. So I'm gonna color that as sell zone. Okay, that's what we're trying to reach. Anyway, so Globex high, and we have a large range today, Globex range. So we have a little bit more room, but I don't know if we're gonna keep pushing, because we are already at the first defense. And this is very, even if we just overshoot, that means we might end up running some liquidity there before coming down. So just wanted to go over that real quickly. So let's see if we can actually come down from here. All right, so last week we ended up with a upside down bull close bar, but you could see the upper wick is extremely strong. So the week eventually was a strong bull week. I mean, we had really nice bullish moves. If we just take a look, right, so right there, pretty much that all was undone. Okay, just came right back down. All of those, might even, if I go to RTH chart, you can see all of this was pretty much was done, given all back. So that upper wick basically represents that. And that's good for bears, because they know they want to keep pushing this. Now, I always had this measured move here, but there's a much, I think, bigger measured move. Could come down to 3,400. When I say much bigger, it's only less than, 50 points. So 45 points, just about. It could just come down a little bit. It's nothing really on the monthly chart. Now the monthly chart has a magnet down here, and I've always been saying this at the beginning of each week, last couple of weeks, that I think market wants to come down because it's kind of attracting, and we're in this bear channel. So actually, see, I was wrong there. Let me fix that. That should bring us down to, yeah, that's it. It's a little bit better. Anyway, so to me, this is now not that exciting for bulls because, they're now looking to see if they can actually find, better prices down here. And even though today ends up coming down, they're going to try to still go back up by using this area. So on the weekly, we already reached a 200 week, so we reached that moving average. So we're using that as support. And we do have, let me see, 1, 2, 3. Even if we go up, I think we might end up coming down again. Bulls need a higher low for trend reversal, at least to go back up to that high. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly real quick. Right, so this was always my area of interest. Now, bears want to break this, and they want to test this high right here. Okay, that right there. So now bulls want to bounce. We have 1, 2, 3, and a lower high. Are they trying to get a major trend reversal? We really need even if we go up, we need to come back and make some kind of higher low. And if we do go up, these highs are where they want to go. But if we do go up to here and end up coming down, that puts us in a trading range. And we're still in this, strong down channel. And if you actually put a line there, even if we go up, we're probably going to get rejected there. So we're in a much bigger trading range. It's going to be a big hurdle for bulls to really break above that channel to get back up to these levels, but obviously they want to get back up there. It's just that not going to happen quickly. I think we might end up going sideways and maybe up, sideways and up, but possible double top there, possible double top there, even here. So it's going to be tough for bulls because the week month ended like that, and then the week ended like that. So we're opening inside, but look what's happening here. We have an inside, outside, and already an inside bar. So this is, I don't know how this week is going to close, but if we close last week's range, that's a breakout mode, and we could end up selling and breaking down. That would bring more lower prices. So it's tough, but we're definitely going to go sideways now that we're inside. Take a look at the daily, right? So you can see that we have a wedge here. Now, we had a bigger wedge here, and we've reversed, So you could see right here, we don't have this. You see that big bear bar, June low? We made the June low with that bull bar. It's not like that, basically. So bulls want another leg up, obviously, but again, they're going to have to give us a much better bull buy signal, to go back up to this high at least, And if they end up coming down there, we end up in some kind of a trading range. So again, it's tough. Now we tested the lows here, Look at that low. Look at the behavior. So we came down. We could not break out. It was a breakout eventually, but it wasn't that strong. We went up. We came down. Breakout failed again. Even though the bulls took over, this area blocked it. So now we broke that again, and the breakout even lasted a lot less time and then reversed back up. So now we're breaking that low again. Look at the breakout. It's not that strong, and actually bulls were able to put a really 2 strong days. Look at them. Even though we kind of did all of that, but we really never made a new low. So this is where it gets interesting. Because we could not make a new low, is this going to be a higher low? And are we going to actually reverse? If we do reverse, this area, breakout area, is going to act as resistance. We could end up coming down from there, but if we do break above it, we would end up going back up to here. So bulls are trying to get back up to the September 12th. Okay. So, but right around this area is going to be a big, big, big deal. So when we get here, I'm going to sell, definitely. I mean, this area is going to sell. Maybe not much, but it will sell. But we have a long way to get there. So now I'm watching what will happen. We failed. Bears are trying one more time because all they want to do is they want to break that low, and they want to get a measured move down all the way to 3,400 area. Okay. So that's even a lot more than 3,400. Or you could say, well, we have 2 bars. That's 3,500. So somewhere around 3,400, 3,500, we might end up actually coming down to. But we have no breakage, so I can't not really measure anything. There's a breakout here, right? So if I take this, we already met that, and then we've reversed, right? So that measured move target. So I'm getting my measured move from the monthly charts, but we need to see a breakdown here, okay? Then we would continue to come down. So let's see what else is there. All right, so this area, that's it. This area is an interest. 3,500 is right there. You could take that high, and that low, and then, so this seems to be a good place. If we do break it, we could come down. We would make another wedge. Or we're just not going to do that, and bulls are going to take over this, and this is going to be a second try, failed bears, and then we're going to end up seeing some really good bull bars, only to get back up here. We got a double top there, like a double top, and bulls want to break that, and the bears are probably waiting there because it is breakout test, okay, area, tested once, it might test again and come down. So we'll see. So I think we're going to be stuck in that range if we fail to break this and test here. But this, to me, is an area of interest now. Okay, so I am going to mark that as also support. So you can either make a blue or area of interest. So to me, it might be attracting the price right here. I don't know if we're going to continue into the 4450 or 3450 or 3400. It's possible we could break, run some stops, and then go back up. This is where the buyers are, I think, waiting really heavily. Now, you see this right here? That's support. So let's make this actually support. Area, I just noticed where the area of interest is. So that's support. This is right here is the area of interest. This is what I'm interested right there. See that congested area? Broke out, came back in, broke down, came back in, broke out, came back in, broke down, and then finally, look at this huge structure. So this right here is, to me, attracting the price, and I am going to mark that a little bit more, maybe like that. So price could dip into this area, and that's beyond just about 3,400. Just about. There's another one right here, but I'm more interested in this right here. And the equal lows, that's where the liquidity is. Okay? That's where the liquidity is. So bears have every reason to keep pushing this down. Okay? All right. So one thing I forgot to do, and I'll do it in front of you guys, that was week before. So now I have Friday, Thursday, okay, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So the Monday low is right there. This is my hourly. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this would be last week's low. This is last week's mid. Nope, sorry, right here. Put it there. And then the last week's high right there. So this is the range I am interested on the hourly chart. And we have a support here on the hourly. So it's an important area that we left behind and we did not test. And that happens to be last week's low also. So again, what could happen at the open? So we are at 36.66, and that support is around 36.17. Could we sell? Well, let's now talk about Friday. Let me adjust this. Friday, we had a bear trend open, and I call this a strong bear trend. Okay, it's not a soft bear trend. It's actually a pretty strong, okay, bear trend. Now, why is that? Several reasons why. Okay, so we gapped up on a Friday, and I was looking for 2 bars, okay, strongly closed. Well, we ended up getting that on the 3rd bar, but all bars ended up being bear bars, 1 and 2 and 3, and 3 is not only a breakout bar, it is also a strong close. So you know that we're going to get a measured move right there. So you could have sold, okay, right underneath bar 2, and then your, early take profit targets for bears, it's right there, and that is the measured move. Now, you can also say, hey, wait, Rose taught us we got an outside bar and we got an inside bar, and we got a close, so they probably sold it with a stop above or on that high, or that high is, doesn't matter, one or the other. You should be putting your stop right there if you're first selling underneath 2 away from, because you could be run over, and that's what they did with bar 3. They ran some stops to create this frenzy. It's better to put your stop above bar 1. So that was 1-to-1, 2-to-1. They came very, let me see, did they test? Yeah, they actually test 3-to-1 is maybe 1 tick less, but that's what they did. So that's pretty good for bears. If you miss selling this underneath, because you got a 2-bar trading range, right? So you're trying to sell with a stop order, or with a limit order, you could sell above things because you have a 2-bar trading range. But really, you should be staying out of it. And but once you get the bar 3, then either sell the close or sell there. Also add a 50%, okay, another sell in case this goes up, because it's a risky bar. Sellers are waiting there. They're going to sell. So it gives you another much better entry. But if price doesn't go to 50%, then you can always cancel it out because it already activated you underneath bar 3. You're in. And, you have a 2-bar breakout. You have a 2-bar breakout, bar 3 and 4. You can also get your measured move. Pay attention here, please. You can also get your measured move either like that, we eventually came to that. Or you can take that wick, which I don't like to do that, but you can. You can take the whole thing, okay? We still came to that. Look at that beautiful measured move target at a magnet, which is June low. And then there were a lot of profit taken there. We stalled there a little bit, but I'm going to get to that. Anyway, so that was a continuation. So basically what market is doing, telling you, listen, is we gap down and we have been selling in a tight bear channel. If you're trying to buy this, okay, you're either in a broader, okay, bear market, and a broad bear channel means your pullbacks are going to be deep. So it's almost like a trending trading range in a way, right? So those are all trading range. So, but really what this is a strong pullback. And so I would not personally want to buy it, but it's a two-sided trading. There will be, bulls making money and the bears making money at the same time. But I would be looking to probably sell because we are not always in long, we're always in short market. Now, bulls did make money because there's a 2-buy reversal here. So you could have said, listen, I'm taking profit here, and I know these guys are going to take profit, these bears. So I'm going to buy into that because chances are we're going to get a couple of bull bars, so there's a good opportunity to make money. Fine. But you see this 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. Now you got to also have to think, wait a minute, we could get a second leg up now because it's that strong. So you have 12, 13, 14 are, pullback in this bull reversal. Okay, but the bears will look at that as a low one and they're going to sell below it. But because you have a strong bull run, okay, this is a rally, 8, 9, 10, and 11, even though it's a bear market. So you got to be thinking, if I sell this, where are the limit order buyers waiting? Well, there was a breakout here, so probably underneath that bar. And yep, they were waiting there. So maybe it's better to sell with an L2, right? Low 2, instead of selling with a low 1. If you're not getting no more than 5 points, well, let's count that, right? So if you sold underneath 12, did you get a 5 point? Yes, you got a 5 point and a 3/4 to, fill everybody and their exit orders who sold underneath 12. So bears are making money and the bulls are making money. Now, this was high 1 for bulls. And this is high 2 for bulls, right? So why is it a high 2? Well, if you're counting from the lows, market is kind of reversing after those 2 legs, right? So you're counter trending. Now, I don't like to do counter trends, but if the bars are good, I will take advantage of it. But to me, I think the low 2 is going to sell. Either it's going to get a kind of a wedge bear flag at the EMA, or it's going to miss the EMA. Missing the EMA test means you're in a strong bear trend, and bears are not letting go. They're keeping a gap here. That means they're telling you, listen, it's a bear market. Stop with the counter trend trading. It's dangerous. Look to sell second entries. Now, let's talk about second entry. Low 2, right? There it is. That's your low 2, right? So we made a high. And then we made a low. Not a good bar though. So if you actually entered here and you put your stop there, your stop should be here first of all. Okay, so if you're putting stop here, there's a chance that bulls can actually kick you out. So better to put your stop up there or 50%. Somewhere here, that bar, maybe at the breakout point, just in case, if you don't want to give back too much and the price suddenly goes up there and you're scared. But really, your stop should be there, okay? So what's happening here is that when you have a move like this, okay, it's a strong bear. The 50%, okay, bulls want to test and there are bears waiting there. That's why you should be putting your stop there, okay? And because it's a bear trend, chances are we're going to be vacuum testing that low because it's strong. Doesn't matter if it goes 50% up, it's still going to come down here, okay? It's got a higher chance it's got a 60% chance of coming down here than the 40% chance going up. More bear bars we start to print underneath the 50% of this move, it becomes 20/80 in my opinion, and you have a much better probability testing and breaking out below that low than going back up here. Okay, so you can sell with a limit order. You can wait for a 50% pullback. I don't know if we actually tested it, but let me measure that. Yep, we did. Look at that. So you could have actually waited and sold there. You see, limit order sellers are making money. Stop order sellers are making money. You better jump in. And if we do break this, we have a measured move target to the downside. Chances are, okay, if we break that, we might continue to come down further, but we didn't have the breakout there. We ended up having a break right there, 14.22. That's the bar that broke the structure. So that's your measured move target. We went beyond that, which was great. So that's how I know this is a bear market, and I need to look to sell, not buy. Okay, so alrighty, market is about 3 minutes left, but I just want to go over a little bit more. So market kept selling and selling, making new lows. If we're making new lows, obviously you do not want to buy, right? You want to sell. This is great. Now, you get bars like this. That's the breakout bar. Maybe look for either a continuation or a pullback. Pullback was a doji, so they sold. You can sell underneath. I don't like selling dojis, but it's a bear continuation. This is coming down. So you got one pullback. That's a complex leg, okay? Actually here, two pullback and a third push, and then we break it again, okay? So one pullback, maybe two pullback and a three, but we break the wedge, so there is no reversal. This is now a second wedge starting, count starts all over, right? So here is one pullback, two pullback, and three wedge. So we have nested wedges. Finally, you know, bar 44, and we have another attempt to go. And again, finally we tested EMA. And I did say, I wrote it in the Discord, and I said, we are, you know, probably bar 49 or 50, we're going to test the EMA. But do you see any bars closing above the EMA? Do you see any bull bars lows are actually above the EMA? I don't. So what does this mean? That means we were maintaining the gap, and now we're getting rejected right from the EMA with a first touch and a second touch. We're still in the bear market. So now I'm looking to see if this is a strong bear trend. That means we better be breaking below the bar 44 again with a bear bar. I'll sell that one too. Okay, maybe I'm going to look for a bigger wedge, 1, 2, and whatever that is, okay, before I actually look to buy. So we are selling. You can sell underneath the bar 52, bar 51 and 52 is 2-bar reversal at the EMA. It's also double top, so it's kind of a bear flag, okay, it's a bear flag, and a low 3 also selling, so you can sell that, okay, and we're selling. We finally made another break, right? So market is still selling. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bull bars. Again, we have a close, but I don't have a bull bar with its low above the EMA. I cannot assume bulls are coming in the market, okay? Bears are really trying to reach places. Their goal is to close the week as low as possible to continue the next week, okay? So now we have a bear trend. What does that mean? If the day before, okay, if we had a bear trend, you know, 50% chance we're going to get a follow through possibly at the open, maybe selling, you know, an hour, hour and a half, okay, even though we gapped up here. And then 75% chance we might get a 2 hours of sideways to up trading, okay, either on the open or after 1 hour or 2 hour. Now, I don't know if we're going to get 2 hours of sell-off or this is going to continue. The sell continuation could come down here and make a double bottom, and then we could end up getting, 2 hours of, 75% chance of 2 hours of sideways and up trading, okay? Now, in this equation, 25% chance you get an early reversal. Now, what does that mean? That means you get a sudden reversal, like right from here, we get a, uptrend. We won't even come down here. If that's the case, hey, that's great. I would love to buy at the lows because we're kind of at the lows, but not necessarily all the way at the lows, okay? But what does this mean? Well, that means maybe this was a wedge, okay, right here, and we made a higher low because all you're getting is a bull gap. That must be a, bull bar on the ETA chart or a bull move. We kind of got that, right? So there was some kind of bull move with 2 legs up and a cup, right? So we might be getting a cup and handle, maybe get a little bit of deep pullback, or we're just going to go right back up to this area. So you see what I mean by that? I mean, bulls might end up going up. If we do break above this, look at this bad price action. You see this right here? This is bad, bad, bad. What does that mean? Bad price action snaps right back to it because it wants to correct this bad price action. This is imbalance. So they want to get rid of that imbalance, and we could end up actually going right back up. And then we would end up with a huge cup, okay, that we would have a deep pullback and then go, 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 go like that. But that's not going to happen before we get above this level. So right now we need a cup. We got it. We have a higher low, another higher low, another higher low. We have a breakout. Now we need a handle. Okay, so I'm going to go back to RTH now. So we have a gap up. We're above the EMA, not necessarily always in long yet. Okay, now bears want to continue this. They want to actually trap the bulls because there's now a trading range. They want to trap the bulls there and they want to come down. Now, if we do reverse, I think we're going to end up coming down here, but we'll see. We need 2 bear bars, okay, to even sell, continue to sell, but I think this right here is going to be a problem for bears. Even right here, it's going to be a problem. The close, which is bar 81 close, happens to be right at the EMA. So we're getting that now, that 50%, okay, hey, let's continue this at least couple of bars, maybe a leg or so, but finish that job. And then start that 75% sideways and up trading. Could today be a bull day? I still don't know. Not with that bar. That bar needs to close bullish or weak bear, and then the next bar needs to be a bull bar, or maybe the next 2 bars. Then I'll believe that when we're testing these highs, then I'll believe that, okay, we have a potential of staying above the EMA and I'm making new highs. Now, those highs would be maybe that, testing yesterday's high, which is Friday's high. That will put us into a huge trading range, okay? So I still don't know. Now, we have a Globex high. Okay, we're closer to the Globex high. And this area, a lot of sell orders were there, but we're selling against 3 strong bull bars on a higher time frame. Now, we might get a third leg, leg 1, pullback, leg 2. Maybe this the whole thing is a complex leg 2, and we need a leg 3. Or this was a leg 2. This cannot be a leg 2 because it did not break above. So I'm not going to consider this. This whole thing is a leg 2. We need a leg 3. Then I'll believe if we get above Globex high, we break out of this Globex range, then I'll believe we're going to be bullish and we're going to keep going up. And that would be the 25% chance of early reversal at the open. So I have my probabilities, and I'm going to wait for bar 2 to close. So far, right off the gate, we have an opening range. Okay, so bar 2 is already overlapping with bar 1. Not a good sign, not a good look for bulls who want to buy the close and create a bullish market at the open. Now let's take a look at, since this is gap up at the open, let's take a look at some of the big gap up. It's not really big gap up, but it's just still a gap up. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the outcomes. Right off the gate. That's it. Maybe, I mean, it's not a, but it's the gap up, but it's not a big gap up, so don't get that confuse you. So we're having this per se, you know, looks like it. So we might actually come down to the EMA, and if we cannot make new highs, we could sell. So selling could continue still. They're already selling. So this is now, I'm eliminating the 25% chance of early reversal, and we're not in the 75% chance 2 hours and sideways and up yet. So this is, we're still 50% chance of follow through selling, maybe an hour, hour and a half or so. So this could be us, or this could be it. We could get them, nope, that cannot be it. We're already at the EMA. That could be it. We could actually cut through the EMA. So now what do I need for that? Well, I need a second bar close bearish. First bar closed on its mid-level, actually closed way below its mid-level. So that makes the bar 1 actually bearish. Bar 2, if it closes like that, that's a sell signal. It needs to close below the close of yesterday, which is bar 81 close, that little bull bar. If we do close it, then we're coming down here and we have a potential of making maybe a double bottom, higher low, major trend reversal, or come down and break below, okay? And that would give us possibly maybe lower low, major trend reversal, one or the other. Or we're just going to break it down and keep selling and selling. And then we're going to trap the bears, and then we're going to go back up. So, and that brings me to the 1 hour chart that I talked about. This area might be attracting the low of last week's low, okay? There's a buy zone there. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so we'll, I'm not ready to buy. I want to see, I want to see always in long conditions. Now, I see a 1 bear bar closed completely above the EMA. Not good enough for always in long, but its low is above the EMA. If a bear bar is actually closing above the EMA, maybe that's a sign. I don't know. But if I get 2 bear bars, one of them is closing strongly on its low and the other one on its mid-level, that's still, you know, sell at the open. So we could end up coming down here. So I'm going to wait for bar 2. I'm in no rush to trade this. If bulls want to take this over, sure. Surprise me. Maybe, you know, close this bar as weak as possible, or close it bullish. Close it in, you know, as high as possible to keep this in a trading range, and then get another bull bar, the 3rd bar, break out, pull back, and buy. I will buy that. And my target would be that high, probably that high with magnet right here. But I don't see it yet, so. Fed Evans is talking, so he's talking all sorts of inflation and where algos are listening, and every time they pick up on a keyword, they will react. That's how they're programmed. It's kind of a dangerous hour, if you ask me. Okay, so swing bears are actually trying to swing this down. That example that I showed you, because they want to bring this down to these, you know, these lows. Want to test it. But look what happened with bar 2. What do you notice there? That bar 2 did not, that body did not close below the EMA. And that's a problem for bears, right? So let's see what the bar 3 does. But 2 bars, one of them closed strongly on its low. Let's see if the bears can actually break this down and sell. Bears are trying to swing it down. but problem is the bar 2, it just did not close. One tick below the EMA. So what does this mean? Bulls are trying to maybe change this, but we have an opening range, and the opening ranges can actually last, 6, 7, 12 bars. So let's just see what the bulls are going to do here. If they do break out from the high, that's it. Maybe this was it. This was the selling, and they're just going to change, okay, the sentiment. But they have to show me a surprise. We're here, and we're about to break out kind of bar, a bull bar, and start to close above prior highs. That becomes then bar 1 and 2 becomes a pullback bar, and we get that leg 1, maybe a complex leg, pullback, leg 1 all the way to here, and then we get a leg 2. Or we're going to get this is all a one big leg down, we're going to get a double top and a bear flag, and then we're going to sell again. So it looks like we haven't made a decision. Market is deciding what to do. So far, 3 bar overlapping. It's a trading range. So treat it as trading range. What does this mean? You buy at the low of things and you sell at the high of things. And any strong bear bar will be bought by machines such as bar 2. They already bought it. So they're screaming at you that this is a limit order market until we get a breakout. Okay. So if bar 3 closes on its high, most likely the bear machines will sell it, unless bar 3 ends up being a breakout bar. Last second it closes below the low 2, low of 2, bar 2, then we have a breakout. Then we continue to come down, and that's that example I just showed you guys. Could get at least 3 or 4 more bars, bear bars, to the downside underneath the EMA. But first they need to show me that they want to close an EMA here. Now I'm looking at the calendar, see if there's any news. There's no news at 10 o'clock, but Evans is speaking. Bulls are looking for some kind of double bottom, some kind of good rejection. Still, you see how they're preventing bears from closing a bar below the EMA? So we're still in a limit order market. Now, if bar 3 closes on its high, there might be machines wanting to sell and scalp. Limit order, you don't hold a position. If you sold, you need to scalp out quickly. If you bought, you need to scalp out quickly, because it will reverse very quickly. It's not a strong close, but it closed above its mid-level, bar 3. Machines are still trying to sell that bull body close, but it's not a strong close. So chances are, you see how quickly they're scalping out, because there may not be sell orders, so this could actually go right back up. But let's see. Bears are trying to swing. There might be actually limit order sellers waiting above that now, okay? Because we don't have bar 3 closed really strong, so what does a limit order do? Sell above things. Maybe they are there, okay? 2 bear bars, they might be there. So if we do go up there, we could still come back down from it. So that is still limit order, unless bulls surprise us and they undo this and close a huge bull bar that's a breakout. I don't see that happening right now. So you just have to scalp out very quickly. Those who sold the close of bar 3 made some money. I don't know how much they made, but let's measure it. So if you actually did sell the close, that was a 2-point scalp, legit 2-point scalp. But who needs that? That would just stress me. I would be stressed trying to sell that doji. It's not, first of all, it's not a strong bull close. I'm never going to make no more than 2 points. So don't touch it. Don't bother with it. All right. So there are times that you really need to ask yourself, do I need that 2 point? And the stress that comes with probably it's going to age me faster, right? You don't need another gray hair. Just leave it out, because you know it's a doji and you know it's a trading range. If the bears are not able to make money, bear machines, there might be sellers up here. Maybe they want to sell there. So therefore, this could end up being a bull bar filling that upper wick. I don't want to be stuck in that. See, that's what I was afraid of right there. So see, now you see what I said? There are probably sellers there because you got 2 bear bars, 1 and 2. There might be some sellers. Well, let's see if this bar is going to pull back a little bit, if they're actually going to sell it. I didn't sell, so I still didn't sell. Because the reason why I'm not selling is that I'm not after these scalps. They can scalp all they want. It's just that nothing closed below the EMA. Now, there's a reason why we might be going up like this. Another reason, well, other than everything else I count, just listed, look how low we are, okay? If this too low, do you think this is okay to sell for bears? No, they're looking for a much better average price to sell. So they might look for a pullbacks and sell above a trading range. This is a trading range highs to sell. Now, if you have a trading range, okay, say the market is coming down. Let me talk about something, and you guys need to pay attention to this. Say the market is coming down, we're in a bear trend. Suddenly we're making a trading range. If the trading range lasts minimum 20 bars and plus, say close to the 40 bars, okay, your chances of breaking down diminishes, okay, but your chances of breaking out, which is a reversal, actually becomes a lot more higher. So now think about this trading range. These bars kind of created that. Yes, we made a new low there, but count how many bars, maybe count from here. We don't have 20 bars, so we still have a higher chance of coming down and testing this low. But if you're counting from here and taking this whole area as a trading range, 44, 80, say about 84, so that's a 40 bar trading range. It kind of diminishes the bear chance to get another breakout, doesn't it? So what does that mean? Maybe there's something I'm missing to see here. Would that be a inverse head and shoulders? Would that be possible that the bears could actually give up and the bulls finally come in and there is a double top here? What if we start to get those bull bars and we break out, we get a measured move to the upside, okay? And that would be the 75% chance of 2 hours and sideways and up trading, still possible. So you see how I'm running my probabilities and scenarios and is what could happen and why it would happen. 2 and 3 did not close below EMA, and that's kind of making me believe that bears don't have a grip at the open. And look what happened, bar 4, second try, but did they sell? Bears were there. I did say they're going to probably sell at the high of that bar, so they did. Good for them. But what kind of closes bar 4? That's a second try, first try and a second try. Now, if bar 5 does not close bearish, second try ends right there. That means bulls will take over. That means you need to look for a strong bull close with bar 5. However, if bar 5 finally closes below EMA, then you're still in the second try. Bears are still trying to close a bar below bar 3 and come down to at least to that high, okay? I still don't know what's going to happen here. This is a mess. I don't want to touch it. I want to see my criteria meet at least. But if I was going to sell and if I wasn't talking, then this would have been it. I would have had a sell order there all the way up here, a couple of orders right there. And I would sell, and if none of that gotten activated, I would have canceled those out, but I'm in already. And I'm looking for a second leg down. I would be looking to take profit where the limit order buyers might exist, okay, on this chart. Now, where would they be? Who's going to tell me where the limit order markets might be sitting on this chart? Look left. What do I look for that? I look for 2 bull bars, right? So 2 bull bars, one of them is really strong. Both of them closing really strong it makes a good limit order market. So right here, limit order buyers might be there. So this leg could end up coming down here only to be greeted by bulls, or maybe a little bit lower because there is a gap here. The bears want to close this gap between the low of 75 and a high of 73, right? But there are probably buyers waiting there, but that's attracting the bears. So this is why I didn't want to buy it, but I could have sold it. Now, if they do close this, okay, I don't know if I want to sell it. They might be trying to come down here, but I'm kind of late because there's a gap here. That gap is scaring me. So I don't want to sell into that gap. But this is where I would have sold it, right there. Limit order machines are making money. Now, if this bar closes like this, there might be sellers right there wanting to sell it. Okay? So what does that mean? Because bears see a bear flag and they want to sell it, that means limit order sellers making money. Stop orders will enter right there. They want to come down to the low of yesterday and they want to break it because they want to get a breakout. So we're still in the 50% chance of follow through sell at the open, which could last hour, hour and a half. Might even last 2 hours. Might be even lasting 2 hours. So look left now. I have a magnet right here, midnight open. This is where the bears are trying to go to, 36.36. Okay. That's a breakout bar. We just breached that. We're in the gap. We breached that gap, and they're trying to close the gap. They're trying to test the 73 high. Low of yesterday is right there. It could come down to 36.37 all the way to 36.33 area before actually bouncing, or as early as it could bounce at 36.37, which is the mid-level of bar 73. So if you sold this, you sold it up here when I said that there are probably sellers, the bar 4 is going to try to activate. Now, did the bears close the gap? Technically, yes, but they need to overlap a bear bar or some kind of bar with the bar 73. So to me, the gap is still open for bulls. Why? Well, look at bar 6. Bar 6 body is not overlapping with bar 73 body. The bar hasn't closed yet, so the game's not over. This could still come down. But if you actually sold, this is where I would take profit, right around there, right around bar 73 high. And that bar is a profit-taking bar. So many machines are actually knowing that, and they take profit because they know some bulls will try to buy to defend this low. So you're getting this bar because of that. And if you actually sold, that's the first entry sell, and that's the second entry sell with a stop order. Look how much you made. You made about more than 10 points. So it's a good place to take profit, isn't it? And that's why you get that bull bar. This happens. This right here, this day, this exact same price action happens over and over and over. Exact same way. If you actually print this, hint, hint, if you print this chart, okay, maybe midday or at the end of the day, and mark it as, okay, 50% chance follow through, hour, hour and a half, okay, pay attention to the lows, you know, things like that, or limit order market, sell above bull bars at the open. Put those little notes on them, because when this happens, you will know what to do. You will not be lost. And then you'll be done with your trading. This is the beauty of Brooks' price action. This is how he trades, because he's been looking at these, Al has been looking at these charts for, I mean, listen, you know, decades. That makes him very experienced. I'm not saying that to, you know, oh, just because I'm working for him. I'm saying that because that's how I learned too. That's how I got consistency. And he's saying to us, don't make your day, don't make your trading difficult. Everything that is happening here has already happened before, and it's just going to repeat it. That's all. You don't even have to look at the Globex. You don't even have to look at the hour. Only have to look at hour or Globex just for support and resistance purposes. You can just trade this and be done with it in an hour. And that's why the RTA charts are a lot more reliable than the ETA charts. So I did say we needed, okay, a pullback. I'm going to get rid of this for a minute. We already know, but why is the pullback not ending? Why is it still going? Well, I don't know. Do you know? The only thing that I can tell by looking at here, it's because there is support here. Okay, maybe we come down here before we bounce without, making a new low. So I don't want to follow this. This is just too much. Follow this. All right. So the bears are now trying to have a solid overlap with bar 73, but they still haven't finished the job. So see if we can hit 37.50. Still nothing. We still haven't overlapped. We might come down to 36.50. Very good. I made some money there. Excellent. Low of yesterday is right there. Bulls want some kind of double bottom. That would put us in a trading range. Okay, so I did say that we're probably going to test below the 36.37 down to possibly, I said, 36.33 area. The bar 7 low hit 35.25, so that puts us in the range of bar 73. And I said if you want to get a magnet, a target, midnight open is target, so if you sold it, you needed to take profit there. Now, we could continue to come down to that dotted line right here, that gold, because that is the 50% of Asia. So, but this is where I would take profit, and that's exactly what I did. I sold with a micro, just to say that I did trade this. When I'm talking, it's very difficult to manage a trade because I trade multiple accounts, like ton of them, and it kind of gives me a scare. I sure don't want to manage trades while I'm trying to read the price action. So I sold it with micros, and hey, I just made money, and I'm able to say I was right and I made money. So now what? Well, the bar hasn't closed yet, but we have a second leg down, and we have a spike, and if you say, hey, this is a channel down, well, I don't know if it's a channel down because we already have a second leg down, and we're kind of testing an important area. So there's a magnet low of yesterday. Can this continue to come down? Sure. It might end up coming actually all the way down to 36.31. So let's just see where this bar closes. If it gets another bear close below its mid-level, bar 7 I'm talking about, this would be continuation to downside. We could end up coming down all the way to 36.23, actually, yeah, just about. So first we would test 36.31, and then we could continue into 36.23.24 area. Or we could just bounce around 36.28 if we close this bar 7. But low of yesterday's, bulls want some kind of double bottom. They want, or they could breach and then trap the bears and then go right back up. That puts us in a trading range. We are oscillating around, I'm just going to put it here, June low. All right, so we have support down here on the daily. We are now getting closer to the Globex low, but we need a bear bar closing below the 36.36. Then this area, last week's low, and this is the buy zone. That becomes reality. Like I said, this is a track thing, so I wouldn't be too hasty to buy it pre-market. I said this is important. It's also bear market on the hourly, and it's a form of a bear flag. So we might come down and test right there. So it's an expanding triangle, right? It's a bear flag. And you can see it right here. I said this is probably a leg, and they're looking for some kind of a double top, and they want to break this low and sell. So there you go. We're coming down. 32 and 31 we're probably going to test, but let's see. Low of yesterday. We need to close below low of yesterday to get down to 36.28 or 27. And then maybe follow through 23.50 or 24, I would say at last 24. All right, so bar 7 closed on its mid-level, but it's at the lows. You know, if you're trying to sell here, could be too late. You do not want to sell in a trading range at the lows. There are buyers there, right? So you take profit instead. Unless you see a breakout bar, strong bear breakout, you could sell either that bar or the pullback, but hoping to get a measured move down here. But this is where I would be very careful selling. Now, can they sell here at 28 area, 36.20? I'm sorry, was that 20? No, 38. Sorry, 36.38. ATR is about 8 points and 3/4. So it could come down another 8 points or average 4 points. Okay, but I'm not going to sell it. I'm pretty much done here. Why? Well, we just overlapped, so the bears kind of finished the job. So it's bouncing because this is the low. Now, I wanted to see it come down furthermore to the 32 and 31. But listen, if it's not going to want to do it, then there's nothing I can do. But let's see where the bar closes. Some bears want to sell the pullback. Instead of selling down right here, they might just sell the pullback. Okay, we're still in the hour or 2 hours, 50% continuation follow through from Friday's bear market. So I will know the bears are going to be completely, flopping if they cannot close a Globex bar underneath 36.36. So let's see where this bar goes. If it comes down below 36.38, they can still sell this another 9 points, believe it or not. So the 9 points would come down to 36.2925. But I need to see where this bar is going to close first. Bears need to close this bar below the 28, 36.28. And not allow a bull body close above 28, strongly, maybe like a point above or 2 points above. If they do close it below 28, because it's a breakout point, look, bar 7 is broke out right there, and we're just going up and testing. And that's a pullback. That's a great pullback for bears because they're looking for a pullback, better entry, and a double top right there. They might be wanting to come down, okay, to 36.31 still. So let's just see where this bar is going to close in 1 minute and 28 seconds. If you do sell here, you could, but just be prepared, if it just suddenly closes on its high, you're selling too low, and you need to be prepared to sell up here once again to get a, better entry to exit out break even. But There's a low of yesterday right there, and the bears might be still trying to get to the 36.31 and below. So my target is still 36.31 as early, because they're showing me signs that they sold the pullback and they're trying to close it as bearish as possible to continue down into this area. Also, I said this is the 50% Asia, so we might bounce there, and that's 36.31.75. All right, let's see if we can. ATR is 9.5, 9 points, and oh wow, okay, so 10 points. All right, so then target now is 28.50. I'm still gonna scalp the 36.31. Low of yesterday tested to the tick, but no close below it. Now I want to see if the bears can actually chase this. So ATR came down from 10 to 8.5, so I have to adjust my target now. Now the target is now, the new target now is 36.30. I'm just going to keep my exit order at 31. I don't care about 30. But they're probably going to chase this further more down. So that's 26.24. It could still come down to 36.24. I'm just doing the math in my head, but my exit order is sitting at 36.31. I just want to see if the bears are going to actually chase this a little bit. There's room. Unless we close a huge bull bar, then I'm going to hit close. We need a bear body closing below 36.32.25-ish, 32.50, 32.25, or 32. That's why it's so close to 31, I don't want to touch it. But I'm also watching to see what the bulls are going to do here. If they do not want to go beyond low of yesterday, then they have a perfect double bottom here. And you have inside, outside, inside, so you have IOI 7, 8, 9. And are we reversing here? I don't know. We still don't have a bear bar close below 36.36. We came so close to that, but there's still 2.5 minutes for Globex chart. They could suddenly close that bar below 36.36. I'm still making money bearish. I still think that we are going to test the beyond, let's see, that's now ATR is 8.99, so that's 8.75. Okay, here we go. So my target, my minimum target for bears is 36.29.50. So it could go beyond 31, depending on how this is going to close. You see how it's struggling? It's like it comes right to the midnight open and it just stops and bounces up. There's a reason for it. It's an important price point on the Globex chart. Because bulls want to reverse here, they see double bottom, perfect double bottom, and they want to reverse. I go back to the EMA, but bears want to break down and get a measured move target, okay? When it's structured like this, it's a cup basically. They're trying to get a handle, and they want to break that double bottom and then get a measured move down. The height of this cup basically projected 100% to the downside. So you just take your risk reward, okay? If you get a big bear bar closing like that, breaching that low, you put your stop there, you're going for 1-to-1. When I'm getting my measured move targets, I like to give it a 1, like maybe do less so you can actually exit out. Or you could get, L likes to do the 100%, like snap it to the low and the extremes and the high and the low, so he gets the actual. But you could just give yourself a little bit of couple of ticks, okay? adjusted so you can exit out early and you won't scramble. Who cares about that 1 point when you're making this much, right? The goal is to get paid before everybody else so you can get to the bar. Well, that's a terrible analogy, but, or you can get to the supermarket and buy all that good stuff so you can cook for your girlfriend with the money that you made. So that's a better analogy. See what I mean? Like, you want to front run it, right? So that's how I like to do it. But just to show you guys, this is how you get your, if you're new, this is how you get your measured move target. But if you do see a strong, okay, bear bar breaching, that's a breakout. So we don't have that. I'm just measuring it for you. We still have a double bottom here. I'm still looking to see. All right, so that Globex bar actually closed one tick below 36.36. So now we need continuation where I'm just marked. We need a solid touch of that, okay, dotted line, which we haven't done so. But bulls have every reason to bounce here due to double bottom, but how strong is this? Oh, I think my application is about to crash. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Okay, so bulls are trying to reverse this because they see a double bottom at the low of yesterday. Now I scalped it. I still left a one contract. I still do think that we're going to test where I said we're going to test, and it could extend down to 36.20, 3.24 area. So I'm just going to stay in my short. Okay, I did scalp one contract just to lower the risk, even though I'm trading the micros. Just wanted to make sure that, you know, I pay myself a little bit regardless. I'm going to count bars a little bit because I love doing that. That's one of my favorite ways to trade. So I'm going to try to do more bar counting for you because I know it's sometimes difficult for the traders to figure out what is what here. All right, so now bulls are trying to get buy to close momentum, at least to the EMA. So if this bar closes on its high strong, we still can get a double top, but I'm going to be exiting out. I might sell a little bit to get an average price because a lot of the bears sold bar 8 are disappointed. So we could still come back down and, you know, get those guys out unless they already sold, and that low of bar 10 was to break them even with a better price. But I think many bears who sold that got stuck there. They should have sold up here because you're trying to sell something at the low, and I warned you, if you're trying to do that, it could be late. You could either sell the pullback and still make money, but if you're trying to sell right there, that's not a good idea. There's a potential double bottom at the magnet low of yesterday, and you know, you're going to end up in this 2-bar reversal. So that's one of the reasons. I was still in my short, so I lowered the risk. I took profit there, but left the one contract, because even if it go up, chances are there are people got stuck there, and we might still come down and get them out. And if we do break out from the low of 8, that's good. My last contract would be making money still. You cannot see the screen? Oh, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I'm sorry, I got excited there. Okay, so let me explain that again. So basically, what I was saying here is that if you're selling here, it's dangerous, which I explained. You needed to either sell with a pullback. We pulled back and then we sold, okay? Because that bar 8 ended up closing down here. But really, you needed to sell up here when I told you guys their limit order sellers are waiting, and then the stop order sellers entered. So this is going to get a leg, and it did. Now the problem here is that I took profit there with one contract, but I left another micro because I do think that we have a potential of continue to sell this. We are still in the hour, 2 hour window. And are you guys not seeing my screen? I mean, I turned it on. You should be seeing now. So, but if you're scared and you see 2 bars, 9 and 10, and now the third bar, bull bar closes, then get out. But there might be some sellers here, again, wanting to sell and get a break even, because if they haven't gone out yet, and with the bar 10 low, I do think that I think we're going to come back down. But you can get out, because when the bar 11 closes bullish, you know, it's kind of, it could do a pullback, and that's when all the bears could get out. Okay, say the bar 11 closed bullish. Okay, you have now 3 bull bars momentum. You get a quick pullback, that's when all the bears would get up, and you end up getting a second leg up to EMA, maybe further up, and you get a double top with bar 6 high, say. Okay, they might be still at the bar 6 high wanting to sell, but at this point I would not take any risk, because it's a double bottom. It's a perfect double bottom. So I'm going to sell up here to get a better exit price to break even with my last contract. I'm just waiting for bar 11 to close, because if bar 11 does not close bullish, ends up closing bearish, I don't have to worry about anything, because it could still come down. So I'm going to wait to see how it closes. It's probably going to go test 36.43 and a little bit further up, possibly. Then I'll look to sell. And selling is not to make money per se, to be in a short. Selling is to break even my last contract I left here. If market is giving me a momentum here, saying, listen, I have a bullish momentum here, even though it's small, but the bars are really nice and strong in 3, so maybe you need to think about getting out. So I have to look at it from that angle now. And I cannot be upset just because I left a contract here and it's not making any money. Now I have to get into a gear. How can I get that contract, not lose more money, and I can get out safely? So then I look left, and I look to see some double tops. Double top with that, double top with that, possible, or breakout right there with bar 3 low. So price can get up there and then sell a little bit. Excuse me. But if bulls cannot close this third bar bullish in 2 minutes, then there's no momentum. But it is right now, there's momentum. And why is that? Where is the continuation for right here? I wanted to see continuation. We're in this expanding triangle, okay? Right there. That is the apex of the triangle. So, but we never came down to that low. We made a higher low. So we're in a trading range. Expanding triangles are trading ranges. So if we're having a hard time getting below this level, maybe I need to worry about the strength, the lack of strength of bears here. Is this another pullback and sell? Possible. Now, the only time that I will believe in that, you know, bears will try again coming down and testing the low, because there is a tight bear channel, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're buying against it. Okay, they sold it with bar 8. I don't know if they're going to be selling again. The only time that I would believe in that, if suddenly bar 11 closes bearish. But right now there's bull momentum here. All right, so we did tested the 43, 36, 43, and we got a rejection right there. So now 35 seconds left. Let's see how this bar is going to close, because bulls want to swing this, because they do see a double bottom wedge, double bottom major trend reversal here. Okay, and they're already showing you some kind of momentum with 9, 10, 11. If I want to buy this, that's fine, but I would like to see some kind of higher low. Is this the higher low, bar 9? I don't think so. So, all right, so they did close the bar bullish, but it did not close on its side. So the momentum kind of diminished there a little bit. It's because some bears are selling and they're trying to break even. So did I, and I'm about to break even and get out with this pullback. Some will sell up here. Some will sell up here because they do think that this is just a pullback and the bulls are going to get another leg up. I don't want to be in that leg, so I want to get out. So there was a double top, 8 and 11, or 6 and 8, and we have a lower high. But I'm getting out, so I'm done. Because this can get a second leg up, and as bulls are looking for some kind of higher low to get a trend reversal. Now, what time is it? Well, it's almost 10:30. This hour is coming to an end, right? And past hour was a bear bar. And if it closes down here, we might actually still test the low of that hour with the next hours and continue to sell. Now, I want to take a look at the ETA chart. Okay, so micro double top, but we are at a support. So I don't know if we're going to actually, on the RTH, we're going to come down here. But we could. So depending on how this hour closes, we could briefly test this hour's low if this bar closes here. Okay, talking about right here. If this bar closes all the way down here, we could just briefly test the low and then reverse back up. Or we won't. If this bar closes up here, see how the pullback, I got out with that pullback. But I actually lost a little bit there. The idea was to either it's going to come down and give me a perfect break even, or I entered, since I'm trading with micros, I just loaded up. And then I got out but it still lost the tick there. So it was still a little loss, but who cares? I'm out. So now, see how the bulls jumped in? Done. Now they're trying to close this hour on its high. They're trying to close it as high as possible. Why? Because this is now becoming a major trend reversal. But really, this was a leg in a trading range. I warned you, we're in a trading range, okay? Now, bulls are trying to get a leg in a trading range. So chances are there might be some sellers here at the high of the trading range. But if you go back to the ETH, if you're an ETH trader, well, of course, all that stuff that I put in there is gone. So let me do that again. What was that? Oh, yeah. I'm going to take that, but you can actually take the whole area. Sell zone, right? So we have a higher low, and we might still get back up here for bulls, or we just got a rejection here because leg 1, pull back, leg 2, right there is basically a sell zone. But if we do get above it, we might still get a rejection right around there, okay? So I think the bulls are trying to get up here, and then they're going to probably briefly sell. But really, this is where the market is trying to get to. So now we have a bigger cup and a healthy pullback, okay? So now bulls need to show us that they want to actually get back up here and then here, then yes. We might even break this area and continue to go up. So it was a good decision on my end getting out here. So I lowered the risk by taking profit at the lows, but left the contract just to see if we're going to break down. That never happened. We ended up getting 3 momentum bars. I'm repeating myself here, 9, 10, and 11. And I said, I'm going to sell at these highs heavily. I had sell order like all around here, up here, okay, just in case if it doesn't sell quickly. But it sold and I got out with a tiny little bit loss, and it was nothing. Now, if I wasn't talking, I would have probably reversed it. But this is now a leg in a trading range. Now, in order for you, if you bought this, you have to put your stop underneath here, because this is now a 4 bull bars and a second leg, okay? So here's the leg 1, pull back, you're in the second leg. But look where we ended up going. We're not all the way at the top of the trading range, but right, that's a climactic bar. We just tested the open of that bar, okay? Now, bulls are probably trying to go further up with that second leg. They're going to have to do better. They have to close a bull bar right around here or above. Okay, June low becomes target again, magnet again. Now, can you move your stop underneath 12? No, not the time yet. Okay, so because this can still come down and kick you out. Okay, so you want to wait. You always want to put your stop underneath a major higher low or lower low, okay, not minor. Bar 12 is a nice strong bull bar, but it's got an upper wick. It's also the second leg. It's minor, it's not major. Stops go under major higher lows, major lower highs, lower lows and higher highs. So second leg, bulls need, if they want to have a breakout and always in long, they already have conditions setting up for them. Bar 12 is a strong bull bar. More than half of its size is closed above the EMA. Now they opened a bull bar and they need to close this bull bar above the EMA. It's not 100% above the EMA bar 13, and it hasn't yet closed bullish, so I don't know if this is still always in long bulls. But it seems like it's trying. But it's a leg in a trading range at this point. Sellers are probably at these highs. So there's a room to push this a little bit further, higher. The reason why we're getting this, because a major objective has met. There's a climactic bar and we tested it. So I didn't buy that bar 12 close, because if you bought down here, you needed to take profit there. I explained this to you last week, the climactic bars. There's a whole course video dedicated to that you can go watch. Well, think about it this way. So market is bearish, okay? If you look to buy here, right? So you would say we didn't make a new low, that was the high 1, right? So maybe high 2, but that's from yesterday. So from today, so you have technically this bar 8 went above the prior bar's high. So buying above strong bear bars is never a good idea. So you know this isn't going to go higher. So you're looking for a second entry long. Second entry longs entered here. They're looking to go with 2 legs up, okay, and a certain area, which is that open of this, climactic bar that actually got in a continuation 2 legs down. So we know that's a magnet. That's where they're going to take profit. Now, the question was, did bar 11 trapped bears looking for a low 1? Well, if you try to sell here, this was your sell. I said this is a low 1 and this is a low 2, and if you're selling this, you need to take profit there, right? I did take profit there and I lowered my risk. You see, they sold again. Now these guys who got stuck here trying to get out. So why aren't we going up? I wanted to see if it's not going to go up, it can't go up. Where is the, always in long conditions? I wouldn't be able to enter, if I don't see the second bull bar. And that's what I was looking for. I said, wait for bar 13 to close. Right now, at the moment when I was talking about it, it looked like it opened above the EMA and it was kind of a bull bar, but it hasn't closed yet. So you can't really buy and hope that this is going to go further more up, even though there's a room here. Instead, they ended up selling because bulls met their objective. Okay, so this is actually a double top too. Now you have a micro double top. So they sold there because I think there are more bears here still stuck. They got a lot better exit than mine because I sold a lot earlier, but I got out. Now everybody is probably getting out. Now we have a bear bar, 13. If the 14 closes bearish, we could still come down here, and that would become double top, lower high, still a bear flag? I don't know. Bulls want a higher low, trend reversal. They failed. They tried once. They might try for the second time. Bears are trying to get a, bear flag. They tried once, failed breakout. They tried twice. They couldn't even make a new low. So who's winning here? I don't know. We're just stuck in this trading range. So it's not clear. It's because we're still in hour or 2 hours down, but we're kind of rotating sideways to finally rotate to the upside if we get above these highs. Now, can the bears actually break this and continue to sell? Sure. If they break this low, I'm sure there are buyers waiting here, maybe 10 point measured from 74 low. I would say somewhere around 10 point. There might be buyers waiting there because it's equal lows. So a lot of the stops for these guys who bought here yesterday, their stops are still here. They try to prevent that break. But if we now break that and you sell it, and then this one reverses like that, oh, you're going to be in trouble. Unless you see a strong bear bar breaking, with a big bear body, then sure, I'll look for a continuation and I'll go for a measured move target to the downside. I don't see that either, so I am not selling. Because bulls want a higher low and they still want to reverse it. So, all right, first hour, even though we closed it all the way up in the midpoint, but that is still a bear bar, and we're now testing that hour's low, past hour's low, and I said it could still happen. I didn't expect this one to actually close up there, but we're still coming down to my target area. All right, so the bears are now trying to get a measured move now, because this is a inverse cup and handle. Big cup, handle, small cup. So they're trying to get a measured move target. But wait how this bar closes, because somewhere around 5 to 10 points below 75, some machines will buy. So here's a 5 point. They're already bought. There's a little bit of wick. You see, some machines are buying. It could still go down to 7, 8, 9, 10 points. This is the area. It could still reverse under low of yesterday. So we're making still a new low. We're closer to the Globex low. It's also, I said, remember, it's a expanding triangle, so trading range. So this is the trading range low. So bears are still trying to come down and test the Asia low and the Globex low, all in same place. So this is what's attracting the bears. They want to break and they want to come down to here at minimum, or down here, that line and there. So that means bears are now, see, if I didn't get out, but this momentum kind of scared me, and I had every right to get out. I had every right to be nervous, But then I said, oh no, bar 12 is really nice, but where is the continuation? The always in long total failed here. See, if I wasn't talking, I would have sold that right there. And, you know, but I got out. You know, I took a tiny little bit of loss. It was nothing. It was like a commission cost, but it just doesn't matter. You know, they kicked me out because they scared me. But now they might be trying to get a measured move target to there. So let's see if right around here we're going to trap the bears or we're going to continue. That bar 14 is a really nice strong bear close. Now, the problem with bar 14, it's a breakout bar and it's a very risky bar. If you sell that bar, okay, you're going to have to put your stop in a qualifying lower high, right? So that is a major lower high. So that's where your stop goes. So you could say, well, I'm not really interested in this measured move, Rose. I think I'm going to be conservative because we could still, okay, break. We could still reverse. I'm going to take this. Here, let me do this again. Okay, bar 8 break, and then this is where I'm going to put my stop. I want to see if the bears can actually get down to 36.1175. So if they do get there, chances are, then you can extend your measured move target. But we're still in the 10-point area. We reached on the hourly, we reached my target. Oh, come on. That's annoying. I think I'm going to have to rebuild my workspace. I'm running a lot of things today on this computer. The Discord, the news browser. I think it's just, I got a heater running. Might need to turn that off. So just give me a second, please. So those of you scared to buy that risky bar is you can also wait for a pullback. Okay. So the bar 15 would be your breakout pullback. And then you look to see whether or not you can actually sell if you haven't sold it because it's too strong of a bear bar, a risky bar. But it is a really nice breakout. Nice breakout. Bears are trying to get continuation. And let's see. Some will sell with stop order one tick underneath that 14, which they got activated. But this is a 10-point zone and expanding triangle, another double bottom. I like to see continuation for bears, at least to meet that target. But I did say earlier, and I was in with my short, and I said, I think we're going to test 36.24. So if you stayed in your short, we actually met that target. So it was unfortunate that I didn't like this momentum, and I had every right to be because it's a low, you know, double bottom at the low of yesterday, and, you know, wish I didn't get out, but it is what it is. It's part of the trading. You know, I was wrong to get out of my short, but you see this? It's kind of, you know, it'll scare you. Now, when did I get upset? I got upset when actually the bulls showed me that they could not make a always in long conditions. That's when I knew, okay, this is coming down to get these guys actually break even, and it might even actually go further down so they make money with that contract, original contract they sold. And they all those bears sold up here with bar 4 actually made money now, a lot more. So so this is now bear flag, double top, lower high. So let's see if we can continue to sell this, but we are at a strong support here. And although this area attracts the bears, they're going to have to show me that this is just a pullback because it's a risky bar. They might just sell the pullback and get another push and get a wedge, this time 1, 2, maybe a 3, or 1, maybe 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3 we have a wedge here, or 1, 2, 3 because count begins again. I don't know. This could be just a pullback. But I did not sell bar 14 because it was a risky bar. It's a big bar. I'd rather to wait for the pullback and then get some signs. But it is a really nice bar that breaks the structure and possible, okay, conservative measured move target still. It's just another good area to sell this low. Better to wait for a pullback and then sell it. Because up until this breakout, we were in a trading range, okay? So risky bars do show up when you're in a trading range. Suddenly they print this huge bear bar and you get all excited, you want to sell it. The problem is if the market was in a trading range for the longest time, it'll still going to want to go snap back, okay, to that trading range. And if you're selling this, this is going to upset you. You're going to be like, why did I sell this early? It's a risky bar because they are trying to possibly trap me, you know, by selling. So why don't I just wait a little bit for a pullback and get another sell signal and then sell that instead? So if you did sell, okay, you know, below bar 14, then your stop is up here and you're going for this target right here. Globex low is magnet. I like to see 36.20.50 tested. A bar like this, I like to see some kind of a continuation, at least small. But bulls finally, you know, they're going to reverse this market. And we can actually end up going back up to 36.50, 36.55 area. Is this where they're trying to do? Well, there are always buyers underneath these lows. Look how, you know, strong that bar was and got several legs up. So, and I said somewhere around 5 to 10 points, you have buyers. They're going to try to buy. Now, as soon as they go beyond, okay, a little bit above 74, they'll be making money. So that's another reason you would know a risky bar like this. That's the first bar since bar 74. So that's what, right, 74, 84. Yeah, it's like 20 bars, right? 20 plus bars, the first bar breaking out. It's difficult to sell that. Now, do you see you know, I do see bull bars like bar 3 closed above EMA, bar 12 closed above EMA, but no continuation bull bars. I don't see bull bars with their lows above the EMA and then it reverses down. So it can still sell. It could still continue to sell further down. I don't see a good, strong, you know, market is not telling me we're able to close multiple bars, bull bars above EMA. So I'm going to leave room for bears to see if they can sell this a little bit more. But bulls might be accumulating here. So because they want to go back up to the 36.50, 36.65 area. There is a wedge. There are actually several of them. Now I have 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 pullback, 2 pullback, and 3. But this could be actually resetting the count because it's a breakout bar, and in a way. So here is maybe first pullback, second push, maybe a third push, and then we finally give in. I don't know. I need a bear bar going beyond bar 15 low here if bears want to continue to sell this. Can they reverse here? Well, the first entry long, bar 16 went above bar 15 is your first entry long, but it's not going to go anywhere. You're trying to buy against a strong 2 bear bars right there. It's a problem. So I like to see a little bit more down. And it's a doji, so if you want to buy 1 tick above doji, bar 16, do you think it's a good idea? I mean, I don't know. I like to see maybe a micro double bottom or some kind of double bottom with bar 15 low. Then I would say bar 16 high is a neck, and then we might just reverse, but I don't know. Maybe they already see this as a micro double bottom right here. So if the bulls can start to close bull bars, then I'll look to buy maybe 10 bars, 2 legs to the EMA, but I just don't see it yet. So I think this is going to come down to 36.21, 50, 36.21, 36.20 before even reverses. That's the minimum, I would assume, unless I see something else. So bar 16 is not a good buy to close. Those who actually bought early above 15, they might have made money, I don't know. So if you actually bought, you would get filled 28.50, 29.50, you would make a point, but it needs to go to 29.75. Okay, so we went to 25.75 and to 30.50. So they made a 1 point there, but that's all they got. So the market now comes down. So I have a conservative measured move target, 36.11 still. Globex low is right there. Fed Evans still talking. All right, so that's a really good close. So let's see if we can actually test the 36.18. Or the pullback, there might be sellers at the breakout point, 16.17. But we are, I mean, if we do not break the Globex low, we could still reverse. This is still a double bottom on a higher time frame. But we should be able to test that. We came so close to it. I mean, here's what's happening here. We broke out of the Globex high, okay? Hold on, wait, let me see. That was 9:30. Yep. So I need to adjust this. Actually, I think that I never adjusted that. I'm sorry, I was wrong there. So that's 9. That's 9:15. That's 9:30. Okay. So that was the Globex. We never actually broke out of the Globex high. We have to break out of somewhere. Okay. So we're so close to, we failed there. We're so close to the Globex low. Let's see if they can make it. All right. So they did sell the pullback. For scalpers, this was the pullback area right there, okay? Right there. So they did sell, and they might be trying to get a 8 point there. But it's just so low. Now, if you're selling this, your goal is to get down to 36.11. We haven't even tested the Globex low yet. So what I've done here, instead of selling the 14, okay, what I would do, and I've done, I actually moved, okay, my sell stop order right there. And then I got filled and I took a point and left the runner, came down a little bit. I really didn't like the fact that we came so close to Globex and then we just bounced. So I hit close and I got out from the runner. That we could still come down here. In fact, we could actually break out and test here, but I need to see it. We're just too low. And this is now almost 11 o'clock. So somewhere around 11:30, if we do meet these targets, we could start to actually go sideways and reverse back up. Those who sold underneath, one tick underneath 14 or to close, they also made money. But we need continuation bear bars back to back. Otherwise, this breakout is going to fizzle out. And that could be a problem for bears. So you have to be prepared there, because we do have 3 push wedge down. 1, pull back, 2, pull back, 3. I don't have an inside bar. I don't have an outside bar either. So I don't know if this is a true reversal finally. Probably not. But there's no good breakout follow through either. So 14 is a breakout, 15 and 16 not a good follow through. 17 is okay. Those who sold here finally sold and made money, but where is the follow through for bar 17? So is this the 18th bar reversal? It's possible if the bar 19 ends up closing on its high strong, then we might get that, especially if we start to get a couple of bull bars back to back. You know, we might get a reversal, because there's also 1, 2, 3 wedge. But no bull bars on the 15-minute chart, so I'm not interested yet buying anything. There's no second entry long either. Now, bar 18 is a good high close. If you are looking to buy with a small risk underneath 18, you would put a buy stop order above 18 and you would wait to get filled. If market is still making new lows, obviously you don't get filled and you're not, you know, in any kind of danger, or market is not going against you. But the problem here is that, you know, if we make a new low, that means 36.11 or maybe even furthermore, bigger structure, measured move targets down there. So market is bearish. Bears are selling every pullback. And at the open, two bear bars, strong but overlapping. They sold it anyway. They sold the pullback to EMA. They might, again, even if we go back up to the EMA, they might still sell the EMA. So there we go. 36.11, we're coming down to that. We just tested the Globex low and the Asia low. Now, if we do break out, this is going to be the target, early target, and bounce. So maybe profit taken a couple of ticks before 11, but it's the conservative target, so there should be no problem meeting, you know, testing 36.11. All right. So the scalpers actually sold the pullback at 24.50, ATR 8.5. So, you know, do the math right there. 8.5. 8.5 was right there. See how they're scalped and then bounced? That was one time the ATR. It's a breakout, pullback, quick, and then immediately sold it, and they took profit right around there, 8.5. It's bouncing, but that doesn't mean that it's going to reverse. It could still sell. It's just taking profit. The reason why it's bouncing, because machines scalped that one time the ATR. Okay, with the stop above probably 16 or whatever the ATR value. So now it can still continue into my shallow bear target, measured move target 36.11. So I'm going to wait until that we get close and meet that target. it. And while that's selling, I'm gonna take a quick break and be right back. Bar 19 is a breakdown and bar 20 is a pullback. There are probably sellers, machines who are trying to scalp might sell. ATR is 725. See if we can come down 7 point and an extra tick. More it goes beyond that breakout point, I have to take out that amount from one time the ATR. So ATR is now 750. So far, it's just a point. So I like to see bears sell this, but it's just selling is so poor. It's just a bunch of alternating bars. No, it's good breakout continuation. Still good, strong bars. Spike, pull back, and channel down. Now it's going back up. So those scalpers are upset because this just went up so much, but it's not the end yet for the bears because they know this is too low and they might be looking to sell the pullbacks. They have been selling the pullbacks successfully. Could this reverse finally? I think not, but 15-minute chart is showing me failure to close a bear bar from the Globex low. Now, there's still 6 minutes and 55 seconds for that bar to close. So that could still close beyond the Globex low. And then we can continue to sell. So this could end up being a pullback on the 5-minute to sell with a better price. So ATR is 8. I don't like the fact that it just went up too much. But I'm going to leave it like that. Market is making new lows, so we're in a bear trend. We're still selling. Okay, here we go. So let's see, 8 points. Can we get an 8 point here? It's right around 36.11. That would be really nice. But be prepared, as early as 36.12, 12.50, buyers could be waiting. Because if this ATR comes down suddenly, okay, I have to take profit if I'm scalping. So the next 2 bars, or 3 bars even, we might still come down and test the 36.11. Unless suddenly bulls start to show up because they see a micro double bottom here with 19 and 20. So they're trying to break the 18 bar range and break it down and get a breakout continuation for bears, but it's not a strong breakout. So again, bar 19 is a breakout bar, but continuation failed. No continuation. Bar 20 is a pullback bar, and it kind of closed above this breakout point. So I'm not very excited about this now because bulls are now trying to reverse and trap the bears. But I'm going to be patient here because it can still come down before going back up. Now, those who actually sold bar 19 are stuck yet again. So they're going to try to sell with limit orders at these highs to break even, just like they did here. So could this be just a pullback and sell again? At this point, I don't care about that 8 point. These bears are stuck here, and their goal is now to sell higher and break even. There's something going on. Sink or swim. Mine is still going, or it stopped, I think. Nope, it just started back again. Okay, so we breached the Globex low, but no close. I'm no longer interested in this. So if they're going to sell here, I'm interested in to see if market can come down and test the bar 19 low, because there are bears stuck there. And I don't like the way that this is bouncing. So bulls want to go up and test the 36.28, and eventually they want to actually close above it and go up to the 36.36 area or 36.50 area. But eventually they just want to go all the way up to now 36.55. Can they do that? I mean, it's almost 11:30, so it's just about, right, less than 15 minutes left. Actually, no, more than 15. It's about 17 minutes left for this hour to close. Then we could finally go maybe sideways and reversal. So then what happens to the measured move? We could still meet that measured move and then finally trap and go, but I don't like the way bar 20 closed. That's an inside bar now. So what does that mean? Buyers bought one tick above 20, and now they're making money. Because this, they looked at this as, okay, this is a first entry long, and that's the second entry long. If they had a buy stop order, like I said earlier, above it, they never got, activated. So they kept lowering that stop here. Now they got activated. They're making money. If they're making money, are we going to get down here? I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we did not get a good breakout follow through. I'm no longer interested in this. Something's wrong with my application. It's just not responding when I click on things. And okay. All right, we are pulling back again. Market is bearish, and they've been selling successfully the pullbacks. So if that's how they want to sell, that's fine. I'll do the same, because breakouts are not really getting any continuations anymore. So where can we pull back? We can end up pulling back up to 36.34 again, and then there could be sellers there. Or they're going to sell right here and then come down and test that bar 19 low, and they might even break out again. It is not a small pullback bear trend. It is a bear trend with deeper pullbacks. Okay, so, and we have gaps, okay? We have gap here, and we have gap there, right? So it's still a bear trend. So we have gap here, right? And that gap is still telling us that this is bearish. I did not like the fact that we closed above that breakout point. And I don't like the fact that we have two bull bars that are very strong. So if I was a seller here and looking for 36.11, at least that to meet as measured move target, and market is not giving me consecutive bear bars, that means I can either sell the pullback, or if I'm stuck, sell the pullback and break even and don't mess with it. Or just stay in your short and see if we can come down to the 19, just like we did here. And then meet the target. So right now, I think at these highs, there's a small trading range here. At these highs, bears sold again. And because think about it, why if this bar like 21 stopped and immediately they sold the close, it's because this is a trading range high. So bears need to close this bar down here, okay, in order to continue to sell down and further. So right now, a machine sold at close, and they scalped. And they might have actually given opportunity to those who sold here, the close, sold again there, but nope, they couldn't get their perfect pullback and break even price. Bears could not break even. Not yet. The bar hasn't closed yet. So the goal is to get them down to that 50% right there to break even. If they sold at close, which is right there. But it was a close one. Now, would you take that? I've taken that kind of exit break even, and then I regret it afterwards. See, I exited there with bar 12, and then market just came down and broke down. Look at that, and a breakout bearish. So similar thing can still happen. This bar hasn't closed yet, so these guys who sold here, they're hoping that we're gonna, market is gonna test that 50%, give them a full break even. Then if it starts to close underneath, then they're gonna get a chance, okay, to make money possibly with their original contract that they sold here. So let's see if they can actually break even first. That means that body needs to touch that 50%, 2150 or 2125. If they do close a bear bar below that, they can continue to sell into the bar 19 low, because that's what the bears want. They got a similar approach right here. We experienced that. I explained it. So now they might be trying to get that again. So does this mean that we're going to finally get that Globex low breakout? I don't know. We have a pin bar at the Globex. 50% of that pin bar, there might be limit order buyers, the buying. So that means break even could be the only thing that the bears could get, and then we start to go up again. So I'm going to wait for this bar to close. Break even happened. Many bears who sold 19 close, they sold up here because bar 21 was a trading range high test, and they broke even. So now I'm waiting to see what will happen here. Will the bears fill that Globex pin bar lower wick completely with a bear body and keep the market bearish, and finally break out from the Globex low and come to my target, which is 36.1150 or 36.11? That would be nice, but we need a bear body closing below 50%. It's hovering there still. Bears who sold 19 still looking to make money with their original contract, so they want to see market come down here and possibly make another low, so that would give them 73, 19, and a new low. That would be a wedge. Or bar 20 is an inside bar, and there was a wedge here, and the bulls are finally trying to reverse. I'm going to get rid of this now. You got the idea. Okay. See, I think the bear's getting out here, guys. Yep, they're getting out. And the limit order buyers actually bought, okay, the 50% pullback to the pin bar wick. So if the bulls actually close this bar, we now go up to the EMA. 10 bars, 2 legs. But remember, I'm going to get rid of this. You can have it on your chart. Remember how successfully bears have been selling these pullback to the EMA. Could that be another scenario? Sure. We're now in the second leg of this bull run to the EMA. We still don't have always in long conditions. So If they have been doing something successfully and able to break out and make new lows, chances are there might be sellers waiting there. Now we have a climactic bar here. 50% of that bar is a target, okay? The open of that bar is a target. In fact, we have now 2 bars. We might go there even and then sell a little bit, but if we get a higher low, we then end up being, you know, getting this inverse head and shoulders. And remember, when you have a wedge, wedges give you an inverse head and shoulders, but I like to see a much bigger one. This is a smaller one, okay? So that means this is a wedge, maybe 1, 2, 3. That's the inverse head and shoulders for this wedge, okay? But I like to see a bigger one. So it would go up, come back down, and then we get maybe one left shoulder head and a right shoulder deeper pullback, and then we get a bigger slingshot to the upside. But regardless, these bears got out with bar 22, and you saw how they got out. So now, bulls are now taking control. So if you're counting from the lows, buy above 20 is first entry long, and then buy above 22 was the second entry long to the EMA. Bulls are trying to close that bar above the EMA to maybe get the, you know, finally that always in long conditions and reverse the market, because after all, there's only less than 7 minutes left for this hour to close. And on the hourly chart, we've tested my support area and we're bouncing. No close from the Globex low, you can't really sell, so the midnight open becomes magnet. You can also measure this, move down and see 50%. If we're there, there might be some sellers there. Could this be a reversal? Sure, but this is a breakout, you know, test area, so it's also the 50% pullback of this leg. Bulls have to close bull bars above it, maybe open a new one to breach that and go right back up. But they have sold the EMA, so they might try to sell once again. Those who bought one tick above 20, if they're stopped here, they might be going for a 20-point swing here, okay? So if you actually measure from this low, 20 point is right there, or as early as 19, or from here, they might be looking for a 10 point, which they got. So they made a 10 point and they're taking profit with that, okay? So these, I mean, this is not really a swing, but in order for swing to start, it has to make at least 4 points minimum. Now, they already made 10 points, so this is a pullback, take profit. Can we come down a little bit? Just a little bit maybe, before we go up again? Or we're going to reverse soon. Still a profit taken. We might just test that bar 22 high, the breakout point. There might be buyers waiting there. Or we're going to come down. But this is, I think, in head and shoulders here. Now, can this be a reversal just like the 12 and 13? Yes, they've been selling at the EMA successfully. Okay? So what I have done was I couldn't buy here, okay? And I wanted to, but I was a little bit upset that I couldn't buy there because I was talking and I need to go do something and my application crashed and all that stuff. So instead, I actually sold it. Now, I wanted to get up here. That didn't happen. But then I said, wait a minute. The only reason why we won't be able to get to the 50% of this leg, okay, it's because they might be meeting some kind of, okay, target here, and that's a 10-point target. I saw that they met the 10-point target, and then they had a that upper wick, I said, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell into that profit taken. And I actually sold. I think I got filled just a little bit under. Okay. And I was really targeting bar 22 high. I took a profit there, and that was a nice 5-point scalp. So it's another way to scalp the markets when you sell into a reason, which is profit taking. Okay. So 10 point, that's great. Now bulls, can they get to the 20 point from here? They could. But first they need to get to the 15 point, which is right there. That means these profit takers need to get out of the way, and we do not breach these lows, okay, with a bear bar. That means we are in the inverse head and shoulders. So if the market ends up coming down here and breaches it, then we're not in a reversal yet, okay? It's just that we're getting rejected once again from the EMA. That's another reason you can actually put a sell order at the EMA with a tiny little bit a stop just to test the waters. Are they still selling and wanting to come down and test the lows and keep selling like this all the way down to, I don't know, bar 35, 40 midday before reversing? Because remember, 2 hours we sold. Now is the time for us to go into some kind of trading range and start to rotate. I don't think we're going to get a quick reversal. We have to rotate. And that's a 75 chance 2 hours of sideways to up trading could happen. All I know is that market is selling the EMA, and I had a reason to sell at the EMA. It was just about 50% pullback. It was a 10 point for bulls buying one tick above 20. If this was their first entry, then this was their second entry, okay? Or if you're counting from the lows, this is their first entry, this is their second entry, and two-legged move to the EMA, they're going to take profit, period. And I'm going to sell there because I failed to buy here. So I'm going to sell into their profit taken. And I went for a 5 point, and I got that 5 point. All right. It's 11:30. This hour is now done and gone. We still don't have a close below the Globex low, but the reversal is very weak. Limit order buyers bought the 50% of that bar, pin bar, but they could not close a bull bar above that high, and it's a freaking doji. Excuse my language. It's not good, but that's telling you something. It's not still bad for the bulls. It's just that it's going to go sideways for a while before reversing, if it's going to reverse. So you got to be able to always look on the Globex chart and see the true conditions. I'm flat and I want to buy, but I want conditions to be right. So what am I waiting for now? Well, I want to see how the bulls are going to actually defend this area, okay, where I just marked. Why is that? Well, you do not want a bear bar, okay, closing below bar 21 low. You do not want that. In fact, you can even say 22, okay? So you want to see actually price come in, test, fail, and start to go up. Oh, I will buy that. And let me see if I can actually find some examples for you on the, hold on, encyclopedia. Well, there's one already right here. So look what they've been doing. They sold, so did we. Not like, all consecutive bunch of 10 bars, but we did sell. And then here's our first sell at the EMA. Here's their first sell at the EMA. They made a, new low. Pull back to EMA. They sold again. We made a new low. Pull back to EMA. We sold again. We tested the breakout point and selling. Now, they made a new low here. But there might be a head and shoulders here, although it's very vague. But they kind of started this 1 hour long, 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, just about 1 hour long sideways and up, but it's still a bear flag. So Doesn't mean that we're going to get a bear flag, but we did not get this, although we might still. Look how the test to EMA is selling. We don't have a strong reversal like we have here. Okay, so that's not us. That could be it. So we come down, go sideways, and then finally reverse. But look how long it took to reverse. So what if we do come down, make a new low, okay? Make a new low, make a better and bigger wedge, okay? And then also expanding triangle if we do break this low, if we do break this box, okay, and start to move underneath, then I will look to see if we can actually reverse. But it's still holding, so this is still inverse head and shoulders. You do not want this to be invalidated with a bear bar closing down here if you're still thinking this is an inverse head and shoulders. They sold the EMA, they sold the EMA, and then it's back to the EMA. We don't have a gap, so we don't need to worry about that. We still don't have always in long, so market is still bearish. There you go. No always in long, although yes, there was, I'm sorry, but they kind of rejected it. So we have a really nice bar closed above it, and we had a similar one right there and rejected again, rejected again. You see how it sold all the way to the close? EMA consistently sold. All these double tops are bear flags, bear flags, bear flags. I don't know if we're going to get this, but we'll see. Here's another one. But we didn't have this before then, so that's not us. Here we go. Another rejection comes down, makes a new low, and then lower low, major trend reversal. Is that the case for us? Could be. I would love to catch this if it's ready to set up. Now, how would I know it would set up like that for a small pullback bull trend? Well, 20 and 21 strong bull bars. One single pullback 22 and another leg up. But I still don't see bull bars above the EMA, and I don't see a bull bars low above the EMA either. So I don't know if this is still in the works for a small pullback bull trend. All I care right now is how this area is going to hold, because I want to sell this. If bears want to sell it, I want to sell it. Now, let's take a look, right? This bar went below, that bar's low, but this is only a pullback at the moment. So buyers will actually lower their buy stop order. Now, do you want to buy underneath the EMA in a bear market? No. So it's not a good idea to have a buy stop order there. Because if you do, you can buy and we will go up here, we can make a double top and then come down. Your reward may not be very good. Now for bears, if you're counting from here, okay, this is a leg, maybe a complex leg. We did not go below, so we have no sell. Although bar 22 is a strong close and it's also a pause, so that is your first sell, okay, technically. So this is your second sell, but it's a bull bar. Now there are still sell orders one tick above waiting to be activated. Now, would you sell below a bull bar? I don't like to do that. So, but market is bearish and they have been consistently selling with limit orders. So maybe I would get activated there and I could at least make a 1 point and leave a runner for a new low. So sell stop orders are underneath 25. They already got activated underneath 24, but they didn't make any money. Their stops are probably above that high or that high. And the bears are still looking for a new low. So they're targeting these lows. Okay. Now, if this bar fails, bar 26 and suddenly closes higher, then these bears are going to be, okay, this is no good. Okay, this is probably trying to become a bull flag. And now the buy orders are getting activated. They might actually end up getting out. And we could end up just going right up and testing the bar 23 high. So this is not a good place to do anything. So I'm going to stay out of this. But if I want to be one thing other than flat, I would at least wait for this bar to close. I think I would be a seller if I want to be one thing. I would still target at least somewhere in the middle or low of this box, yellow box, or down here. Okay, there are probably limit order buyers underneath bar 21 waiting, so we might pull back down here. So there's a scalp opportunity. Because those who actually, look, they actually, but I just noticed, those buy orders, one tick above 25, they got activated, and they're not doing well. Because if they put their stop here underneath 25, they're going to get hit. They should never put the stop there. Now, if their stops are here, that's even another reason for bears to actually target those levels. So we could end up coming down here. See my reasoning there? But I'm also keeping an eye on it sideways and up. So we're testing this area. If bears close a bear bar here, that's it. This inverse head and shoulders will be invalidated. We're not there yet. It still has a potential to keep it as is and reverse. Now, what happened there? Those who actually bought one tick above got kicked out of their long. So that was a one tick failure above the signal bar, and they failed. So what does that mean? That means this is still a bear market. Okay? Bears are still targeting the lows. So limit orders are making money. Stop orders who sold instead of buying, okay, underneath bar 24 and 25 making money. So this is a full-blown bear market. Still, it's not ready to reverse. Now, we need a higher low. We need a good higher low and a trap of the bears. Okay? Until I see that, you can't do much. You just got to let it sell. You can't just prematurely buy. I mean, I kind of lost my cool explaining the 15-minute chart, and I started almost used profanities there, but you saw why I was upset about bulls. They're not ready to do anything. Look at that bar. Yes, the limit order buyers bought it, but where are the stop order buyers? Maybe they bought it, but above this bar, pin bar, but did they make any money? Just a little bit. That's all there is to it. That's all they did. So there is no strong bull close. It's now sideways market. It's still bearish. So bears are still trying to break that Globex low. All right, so we're getting very close to invalidating this possible inverse head and shoulders. But it's still that it's not invalidated yet. We had this before. I don't know, guys, you remember this, but several weeks ago. I think it was like the first week of, no, maybe like 2 weeks after I had just started streaming in this trade room. And then we had this, and I kept telling guys, watch. We could come all the way down here and test it, but not able to close the bear bar. And then we start to swing high, and we did. I don't know, some of you remember that, and that was an amazing swing long. We could get that. That's why I put that yellow box here. So low of 22, or you can even take as far as 18 and 21 lows. But you do not want to see a bear bar closing there. Right? Yeah, and somebody was so excited because they made a ton of money. Like, oh, you were so good. It wasn't that I was good. I know how to draw this, and one thing I learned about wedges, and any wedge bottoms will create inverse head and shoulders. Any wedge tops will create regular head and shoulders. So look what's happening there. It's limit order buyers are buying. So now, can you wait for a second entry long? Well, let's talk about that. From the lows, if this was your first entry long, where is the second entry long? Well, maybe we're going to get it now. So we need a signal bar, bar 27, and we need a trigger bar. Bar 27 ends up being a single and a trigger bar. You end up getting a quick breakout most of the time. So I need to show bulls. Show me that bar 27 that can close on its high, closer to the 26 open. Then you got beautiful bar, but we are still below the low of yesterday, still not always in long. It is not a bull bar with a beautiful bull body with a pin bar at the EMA. That's the one you want to buy. Either buy there or buy the pullback. But regardless, okay, if they do close this bar, this is going to be a good higher low to move that stop from down under 20 to put under 27 and go long. So let's just wait if the bulls can actually deliver what they promise. While this is happening, I'm going to grab quick coffee and be right back. But be careful, we might also get a double top there, okay? Because we need to go sideways a little bit. So, good close, 27. I'm glued to the screen here. But buy stop orders are lowered one tick above 27, and they have not yet activated. So everybody's safe there. They're waiting. If this is going to turn bullish, they're just waiting. But no one's going to put the stop underneath 27 unless we get a bull bar breaching the prior highs and closing. Then yes. Then you can move that stop. Stop goes underneath here regardless. So I have a buy stop order one tick above 27 with a couple of micro contracts. So I'm going to scalp one contract at the EMA. Again, I'm with micros. I got it. So now my second contract, let's see. If you bought a boat, you want to make that 5 point, right? So that's the goal. So I'm going to scalp right here just in case at the highest that we end up getting a double top, another sell, because we sold at the EMA strong gap bars, sold again, another gap bar. I don't want to be stuck, So see if I can get a 5 point out of this beautiful pin bar and a second entry long and it's a signal. It's not the true trigger bar. I got to be honest with you there. 27 did not go one tick above 26, but it is good enough for me. It was good enough for me to enter with one tick. Now, I could have scalped everything and gotten out, but I think I'm just going to wait a little bit. Now, I don't like what's happening here, yet another EMA rejection, but that's given because every machine knows that they were able to sell successfully. So they're going to try again because, you got to do the same thing. It's like a Navy SEALs work that way, right? So they indulge, what is the word? I was reading, okay, so I cannot take credit on this one. I was reading Tom Hougaard's book over the weekend, and he's got this thing that he's describing how Navy SEALs and their mentality. Oh, what did he say? It was actually pretty cool. And so apparently Navy SEALs, they do not believe in moderation. They believe in doing everything in, what is the word? What's the opposite of moderation? Yes. So yeah. So basically, the life is not worth living if something is not worth doing, not worth living. If it's not worth doing, okay, in moderation, don't do it at all. So apparently that's exactly. So that's why they do it the hardest way and they do it excessively And that's how apparently, and trading is like that apparently. I don't know. I'm still reading the book. So I want my 5 points. Give me my 5 points. Oh my gosh. It's a good book. I like it. It's entertaining. I want to know who that girl at the Bloomberg terminal is. I'm going to ask him that question. It's like that's how the book starts. I don't know if you guys ever read that. That's the opening line. The girl at the Bloomberg terminal. I want to know who that is and what happened to her. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what the book says. That's actually pretty cool. I have a Navy SEAL friend. Used to be. We're no longer friends, but they're a little bit psycho, those people. They're different. They're wired differently. Tough people. Mentally very tough people. Different kind of psycho. Anyway, so I'm about to get my 5 points. Excellent. Yes, I just got my 5 points. Now, I'm going to look to see if we're going to get a double top there or we're going to, okay, we're getting a breakout. Good job, bulls. That was very nice. Breakout. So now those stops go right here, okay, underneath bar 27. And you see how beautiful that area held and a good signal bar. Print this out, mark this area because you're going to get this again. This is exactly what we got the last time. So now we have a wedge though. Be careful. We got a wedge, possible bear flag maybe, because this is still considered maybe a double top. If we do get a lower high, we could still sell this. But at this point, are we now reversing? Well, I don't know. We have 3 bars. If they do close this bar 29 bullish like that, above the high or prior high, that's a good indication that we might actually have a pullback. Can we get a buy to close rally midday? I don't know. It's just, you know, big down, kind of big up, and then down again. I think it's too early to get a buy to close of any kind of rally. So I think we're just going to maybe make a high here and then come back down. And I would look to buy again, perhaps. But always in long conditions set up, I'm going to buy the pullbacks. I'm going to buy the pullbacks. So 28 closed above EMA. We have a bar opened above EMA. Now, if it does close above EMA, that's a good sign for bulls. So we might be actually in that small pullback bull trend now for a couple of hours. And we could end up going up to these highs. All right, I'm going to grab some coffee. Be right back. Okay, I am back. So any questions here? Because I just noticed that I'm about to sign off. So I need questions if you have any. Now, where can we go? I think the magnet is somewhere around, let me see, 36.45.50 or 36.46 area. It's still not bullish, but we have a really nice 2 bars closed above, so we might get a pullback for limit order buyers, or it's going to keep going up and up and up. But I don't think it will, because this area seller is waiting. This area seller is waiting above 14, somewhere middle of 13. Well, at this point, we aren't always in long, but I think we just became always in long with bar 20 and 21 as early as possible. And then we were able to close that big bull bar, 23. So I think the bulls are going to try to maintain this, but we're going to come down, okay? And I want to see if there are buyers here. Now, in order for me to become a seller, I need to see a 2-bar reversal. So I need to see a major rejection of this close above EMA again, just like here, just like here. But finally, we have a bar 29 and it's low, it's not all the way entire bodies above the EMA. But if we start to get bars that their low is higher than the EMA and there's a gap, we could still come down, but chances are market is going to reverse up. So for these trend reversals, okay, so you want to see the first sign, you want to see this. Let me see if I can find examples. So the market is coming down, okay, market is bearish, right? We became always in short, although it is a trading range. But look, bear bars have, bull bars and bear bars have their lows are higher than the EMA. You need to expect still test of the lows, but once we start to print these bars and we're no longer making new lows or breaking down, we're making higher lows, market is probably going to try to reverse. Now, they tried here, but nope, we became always in short again. So I can't really assume that I can buy right away. I can't. Market is still going to come down. But look, it finally tried to reverse, but it ran out of time to go up. So this is not the best example for actual reversal. So there's one right there. This is a really quick one, actually. I'm looking for a much better one for you. So hold on. Because it's part of the lessons. That's not it. So what I expect is after a bear trend, and if I want to see rotation, you know, I want to see, even if there is a kind of a breakout, I want to see a failed breakout. I don't want to see a continuation, obviously, because if it continues and it goes back to EMA, I'm going to sell that again. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for is bull bars closing above EMA, bear bars closing above EMA. Their lows are higher above the EMA. And then I'm going to see more selling. I'm going to expect that, maybe another leg or two, maybe even a breakout, but failed breakout. Then I'm going to look for higher lows and bull flags, and I'm going to buy. So that could be the kind of, okay, situation for us. Hold on. So, see, bears are still trying to sell the EMA. I don't like this. I don't like this 2-bar reversal, and you have now inside bar 30. We're still not there, but we were able to close 2 bars above EMA. So that, and bar 30 also closed above EMA, even though it's a bear bar. So how bearish is this? Well, it's definitely a bear flag. It's a wedge bear flag. Now the question is now, you know, if this is not that strong of a bull trend, or it's not that strong to start a bull trend, what can it do? Can it come down here? Can it still breach this area? I don't care about this anymore. Or can it come down here and then fail to make a new low or take out these lows, and then finally it's a failed bear flag and it just breaks out to the upside? That could happen. So that now I'm looking for, definitely they're going to try to sell this, but possible failure, maybe 50% pullback of this bull leg. This is a strong bull leg. 1, 2, 3. Now we know there are higher, this is a higher low, so there are stops there. So these bulls who printed the 3 bull bars with a gap here, they're going to try to maintain this, okay, maybe a 50% pullback and then go again. Since bar 30 did not close below EMA, it's not always in shorts, is it? It's still always in long. It's just weak. So would I sell this? Would I look for a, you know, yeah, low 1, low 2, if you can, or low 1, maybe low 2, you know, if you count from here. Well, it's a 2-bar reversal with an inside bar 30, and it's a wedge. So we might get some kind of continuation, but bears need to close a bar below that box. Okay, so that is the wedge top box. You want to see a bear bar is closing below the low of 30. That's the first sell. because it's a wedged up. But then you would wait for a second sell. If you get that, then we have a lower high double top. Wedge, lower high double top. That's a bear flag. Now, can they make money here? If they do close this bar, this is a 2-bar reversal with an inside bar. They could make a, I don't know, 3 to 5 points maybe. I don't know. So that's a 5-point right there. But it's the first sell, and you're selling into the 50% of the 3 bull bars. 3 bull bars, they might go sideways and get another breakout. So I don't know if I want to sell this. I might wait for a second entry sell. I don't like the fact that you're selling against those 3 bull bars. So at least wait for bar 31 to close. And that would become your first sell. Now for bulls, okay, because we went below the 30, this is a pullback now, right? So buyers are going to lower buy stop orders. Now, nobody wants to buy above a bear bar, but they're looking for a high one. And this is also double top, maybe here. So it could go both ways. If you want to sell this because you think this is still a fair bear market and market has been selling at the EMA, you need to look for at least the first entry short. Bar 31 needs to close bearish below 31 with a body. I'm sorry, below 30 with a body. But even then, it may not sell because a wedge, you see, we need to, I'm actually measuring the wrong one. You want to actually measure this, but see, it didn't close. Look where it closed, right at the 30 low. So that's not good. That's not bearish, is it? You got the point, right? So now, what does this mean? Selling the first entry short may not give you anything decent as the reward. So you want to wait for a second entry. But in this case, this could be high one, okay? And bulls might be looking for a high 2 and go again because still no bars underneath the EMA. So do you really want to sell this? Now, 2-bar reversal, it might try to get a second leg down, leg 1, pull back, leg 2. But at this point, you know, sure, I'm not going to do that. I do not want to sell against the 3 bull bars. Plus, there are buyers stuck with bar 29 close, and they're upset. So they bought with a limit order underneath 2 bull bars, 28, 29. Buyers literally entered. Why? Because look, bar 31 went 1 tick below, so it entered the limit order longs. So those limit order buyers are actually trying to break even from that terrible buy they had. Did they break even? Yes. Now you might be able to look for a second entry short. Now you're getting your second entry short, but that bar needs to close down here. It went up, so now you're in the second leg. So you have to wait. Everything has an order here. So if you entered here originally, and then you entered right at the low, okay, bar 31 went 1 tick, so it activated all the buy orders, okay, limit orders, and everybody got break even right there. But some of the greedy bulls, they still want to make money with their original contract. So they're assuming this bear trend is dead now, and no bear bars are able to closing below EMA. They're assuming bears are going to be trapped with the second leg down somewhere at or below the EMA, and the bulls are going to take over with a high 2 and then get back up to these highs. So because I see that, I am not interested in selling this unless bears give me a really good second entry short here. See, This is now the second leg down for bears. So they're still trying to make that 5 point underneath, selling one tick underneath. So they got activated 30.25. They're still trying to make a 5 point there. 5 point scalp right there. They entered right there. That's it. They made their 5 point. But that's the second entry. Okay. So you just pick a side. I picked a side. I want to be a long, but I didn't get a chance to enter, so I'm still waiting. But at the meantime, I decided not to sell it. But if you sold it, you would have either sell there or sell underneath here, because this bar went above that bar. And the reason why it went above it, because it needed to get these guys out of there. Now, this is kind of a give up bar now. Okay, bar 32, these bulls kind of gave up. So what happened to the idea of going back and making money there? Well, that failed. If this bar actually closes like this, that's a fail. Now we could end up having the bear flag. And if we do break these lows, we test that low, and we could continue to sell, okay, down. Now, where can we sell? Sell into? Well, let's see. This is the leg. That's the pullback. So they're going to have to break here with a bear bar, and this is the first bear target, and it could still continue to sell. So one thing the market is doing consistently today, okay, they are definitely selling the EMA. But it's got to stop somehow if they want to reverse this. So is this a small pullback bull trend? If it is one, it really is a bad one, because pullback bars are pretty big. Now they're getting 3 bear bars like that. Now I'm kind of losing my interest in buying this. First entry long, absolutely horrible. Bears actually had a much better hand there, and they're still selling. So if you thought that this was actually some kind of low 2, yeah, I mean, it ended up being a good low 2, gave you more than 5 points. That was a good scalp. Now, can they actually get 10 points? Although I don't even know if they actually got it. Nope. So the 10 point is down here. Now, can they get the 10 point? Sure. But they're going to have to keep closing bear bars. Bar 32 is kind of a gave up bar, like I said. And so if these bulls finally got out, that means that's still 1-to-1 target, which they haven't met yet, 36.2375. We should be able to test that. And if we do start the breach below it, right smack in the middle is actually 1.5. 1.5 risk reward, which is a 10 point. Now, what they can do, they can actually come down there and reverse. Or reverse a little bit, take profit, and then break again and get to 2-to-1. That would put us into a trading range, that sideways and up. We are still not rotating. We're still in a trading range. So bears need that 1-to-1. And then continue into the 10 point. So I'm not looking to buy just yet. Okay, this is still seems like bearish. If I weren't talking, yes, then I would have jumped in. I would have already had a probably sell stop order underneath this bar. Once I see them actually getting out, I would have taken advantage. Now, say it filled me and then just went right back up, then I would have sold again right here, maybe sold a little bit higher to break even and get out if I see the bears are failing. But in this case, bears are not failing and they're making money. So that right there is a 10 point. It's not swing, but it is. Now, to me, 20 point is a good swing. It's really a healthy swing. But anytime market starts to make more than 4 or 5 points in one direction and able to continue, that's swing. And they've been swinging from the EMA. So you can see the 2-bar reversal right there. Now we have always in short yet again. Now, bears need to close this bar below the 23.75 with a bear body to continue to get that 10 point. So I would hold. You can scalp here, and if you have a luxury of having a runner, now leave that runner to go test that 10 point. You still need to scalp here and pay yourself. That's still a risk reward 1-to-1. But as soon as you see that 23.75, we close one tick below that, okay? Chances are we're going to get that 10 point solid. So this right around here, 20.50. See why that bar 33 is bouncing? Because they're taking profit at 1-to-1. How did I get that? Bar 30 is an inside bar, and it broke out from the bar that we were stuck in. So it's a breakout. So they're getting their 1-to-1 target. Could the 36.11 target still be? Well, I don't know. So let's take a look. So we have a structural break, and really you're going, I'm sorry, not that. You really still, basically you're asking, are we still going for this measured move target? Well, this is the actual measured move target. We could still sell, but the one that I found was the conservative one, which was this, but we failed. Okay, so to actually tag that. Now we're going sideways. Okay, we have a breakout and we're going sideways. But how many bars? Ask yourself. If it's less than 20 bars, okay, if it's less than 20 bars, Nick, going sideways, chances are we could sell and meet this target. That would be 2-to-1 and 3-to-1 target. Might be even 4-to-1 and 5-to-1. Now, how many bars? Oh no. I think application is dying again. But let me explain that. So let's count. 15, 30, that's 15 bars. 16, 17. Okay, I'll stay a little bit longer because of these glitches, but I'll count. So if you actually count from that breakout, bar 15, so to 30, you have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's only been 19 bars. But if it starts to become more than, 20 bars sideways, it starts to, this bear trend starts to get weakened, meaning we may not get continuation into those measured move targets. Okay? But we're still in the vicinity of still bears are trying to get those measured move targets, so it's still possible that they could. I think application is dying again. But let me explain that. So let's count. 15, 30, that's 15 bars. 16, 17. Okay, I'll stay a little bit longer because of these glitches, but I'll count. So if you actually count from that breakout, bar 15, so to 30, you have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's only been 19 bars. But if it starts to become more than, 20 bars sideways, it starts to, this bear trend starts to get weakened, meaning we may not get continuation into those measured move targets. Okay? But we're still in the vicinity of still bears are trying to get those measured move targets, so it's still possible that they could. All I know is that market has been selling successfully the EMA, so there must be a reason for it. Maybe those measured moves are where everybody is waiting to make money. Okay, here's where I was counting from, so hang on. So the breakout bar 14, 15, okay? So that's still the shallow measured move target. We got a much bigger one. We're still in 20 bar, okay, range. It's still healthy for getting continuation to downside. But once it starts to get above, you know, more than 20 bars, it starts to weaken. So we're still below the EMA. We're still always in short. But the problem here, always in short, is bar 33. It's not a consecutive bear bar. So, but still it gapped down. So do I want to buy this? Now, I would not have put a buy stop order above 33. If my application didn't die, and I said earlier, I'm looking for a second entry long, looking for maybe a bull flag reversal, rotation, whatever. But the bar 33 is not a strong candidate for me to buy above it. Not against the 3 bear bars, 30, 31, and 32. So I rather just stay out because I kind of gave up there with bar 32. The bulls gave up, so I gave up. Okay, so I have to pick a side, and I'm going to read the conditions. If bears are still selling, then it's because they're probably trying to get here or furthermore down. So here is your 1-to-1. We need a bear bar close below 23.75. These bears sold underneath 30 still made a solid 10 point. So they want that still. So market is proving to you that it is still bearish, and we're still hovering around the Globex low. We do have a wedge there. Look, we also have expanding triangle there. So can we get down here? Sure. If they can start closing bear bars. Now, what would I do here? What I would definitely sell, I would have entered definitely below, one tick below, what is that bar? 33. It's not a strong bull bar. Not many people will enter below that, but I would grab, you know, a scalp and then leave a runner. Or you can enter one tick below 34 or the close of 34 because it's a pullback and close really strong bearish. So you could say, hey, that is my second entry. First entry, second entry because it's high when above the prior bar's high. So it's a pullback and a leg in one nice, neat package. So you know it's going to go down. Or you can sell with a limit order. Instead of buying with a one tick above, if you can recognize the give up bars, you can, instead of buying, you actually bet against the market, bet against the bulls who are trying to buy it. You sell against it because they want to run their stops here, here, maybe here. That's what you're betting against. So market made a 10 point. Now it's probably going for a 15 point scalp. And a 15 point scalp is right here, but before then 2-to-1 risk reward. So the 36.17 is 2-to-1. So looks like, yeah, Nick, I think we are trying to get the 36.11, but I'm watching the Globex low. We really need to break that. All right, I am done with my session, everyone. So hopefully you guys, you know, there you go. Have an understanding of how I read these things and how I change direction as the bars show me what to do. But one thing that I kept saying, and I was seeing consistently, that the market is selling the EMA consistently. It's making really nice, okay, flags. Here's a flag. That's an expanding triangle. Here's one, small one, and a bigger one. Now on full blown bear flag. But you see how we're testing this right here? Okay, now watch. I'm going to do this again. You can mark the 36.11. I'm going to delete everything and give you guys an example how I measure it. You see this leg down and a wedge? I go to Fibonacci extensions, not the retracement, where that leg began, and measure all the way down before the pullback began. I went back and close, and now I'm looking for a breakout here. If bears get that breakout, this is their first target, and then the second target, okay? Now, what could happen wrong? Well, if they pivot around here, that means no breakout, bear flag failed, we have a trading range sideways, and we could still get that up. But it's very strong, so I think we're going to break it. So target 1, target 2. And then also shallow measured move. You don't need to do a shallow measured move, just get the big one. So, and I'm looking to see if there's actually a much bigger measured move. Is there a bigger one that I am missing here? Yikes, I think there is one. Well, there's a target for you, 35.23. Don't know if we're going to get there, but I'm going to leave it there, okay? This is what I'm interested at the moment. First one, in the middle, what I measured, and then the second one, and then the third targets for bears, if they're going to break that low. But we have a wedge, 73, 19, and now 35. But I think we're going to push a little bit more. We need an overshoot, a tad little more, before we reverse. So it looks like 36.11 or 11.50 is target. All right, if I come across the charts, I'll post them, but I want to trade a little bit, so I'm going to end my session. I'll see you guys, let me check the schedule. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow it's myself and Brad comes in the afternoon, and Wednesday is Al Brooks. Thursday is me again, only me, and then Friday it's Brad and I, and that's it. All right, have a good day, everyone.